Call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to the July the 21st, 2025 meeting of the Caswell County Commissioners. If you would join me for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the consent agenda, which will include tonight's agenda and the open session minutes from 7/7. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion from Commissioner Smith,
Second.
second from Commissioner Rose. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Announcements and recognitions. I'll start with you, Commissioner Claggett.
I have none.
Commissioner Ingram,
I have none.
Commissioner Rose,
Nothing.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to congratulate former Director EMS Barry Lynch on his well-deserved retirement.
Commissioner Totten. Commissioner Holt. All right, moving on down to public comments.
So the first person we have is Mr. Chip Atwater.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, feel like I'm supposed to be here. Supposed to be up there sitting with y'all, not here. At the last meeting and then listening to the minutes and the video of the last meeting on 7/7, which I was not here, I still would like to express my unhappiness or disappointment rather of the decision made in regards to the firing range for the Sheriff's Department, which brings me to some new questions that I have that I would like for each commissioner to maybe take a note of each one of these comments that I make. There are several things that 3 or 4 things that I would like to bring to your attention that you may or may not be aware of. First of all, I would like to know if there's and this also coincides with the new gas line road proposal going into the landfill and the direction that I understand is supposed to take between the impoundment lot and the compactor. Take a left, go south on the property line, and then wherever it intersects with the existing gas line is going to be right close to my property. Don't like that either. So there is supposedly a contract with a telephone tower company that a telephone tower was contracted with the company to put a tower there in the landfill area. I don't know if that's still valid or not. I'd like for one of you to find out. Number 2, when we complete on the construction of the firing range, the foliage is going to play a part in the decibel level from time to time, depending on what time of year they do it. And if they destroy a lot of foliage, that sound barrier is going to be gone. My question is, who's going to monitor this sound level, the 65 decibels that have been quoted by the commissioners? Who's going to monitor that? I'd like to know that question. And if any of these guidelines are violated, what's going to happen? Who's in charge of making sure that these things don't get violated? I know all of you have the communities and the citizens of the county best interest at heart, but it seems like in this particular instance, it feels like it's one area that's been affected the most. That's two of the things, the foliage on the trees, the decibel level, and who's going to monitor this thing. The third thing I want to point out is,
And I'm sorry, your time is up.
how much more time we got?
In 3 minutes, Mr. Atwater.
Well, just right quickly. Sheriff Durden, who's going to be using this facility? Just our sheriff's department or outside other law enforcement agencies coming in here? And who's going to monitor that? And who's going to control that? Some of these questions I'd like to have answered. And I have never heard one word, yea or nay, from any commissioner or any designee of the Board of Commissioners about any of these questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And the next person is Linda Gaulden. And while she's coming up, if there's anyone else that wish to sign up, I have the sheet.
Hello, my name is Linda Galvin. I actually live in Mountain Hill. We've dealt with fires, lots of fires as a result of a landfill being in our backyards. 100-acre landfill, about 7 or 8 pictures here. This is just an example. With this, I've watched y'all's video, the commissioners meeting, and I understand the pipeline is supposed to be going through on the backside of the landfill off of 86. I just feel it's very, very dangerous. If landfills produce so much methane as it is, and this pipeline going through is also carrying methane or natural gas. If it leaks, and they're known for leaking, and it's going to be a much bigger pipe than what the existing one is there. What if it sparks from some of the men running their equipment that could cause a spark? It's going to blow up. We had so many fires, bad fires that took days to put out, that they finally bought their own fire truck. So that's something else for y'all to consider. Even a used fire truck is like $300,000 to $400,000. So it's probably something in y'all's future that y'all will be putting into one on 86.
And the next person is Laura Picardo.
Hello, County Commissioners. I'm Laura Pichardo, Pelham, North Carolina. I live at the very end of the designated pipeline and near the Coastner's shooting area. They do like a bunch of sports. They do bow and arrow and shooting, practicing guns with your guns. So to be honest, I don't hear a lot of noise from the shooting range. It only when they have tournaments, mostly on Saturdays. So when it comes to the sheriff's office training facility, are there going to be designated hours, designated days that might be provide clarity to the citizens that live around that area? Because in my area, I just hear it on Saturday mornings, and that's it. And for the gas pipeline, I was interested if Enrich was going to be here, who's going to be attending the meeting in Rockingham on the 24th, and how our water is going to be protected, because in Pelham, it's mostly well water. And that's mostly the concern, because everybody has well water. We aren't connected to any city water. So I just wanted to bring those call outs of areas of concern. Thank you.
And that's all we have under public comments.
Right. Moving on down to item, number 7, financial report. Gentlemen, y'all should all have received that via your meeting agenda packet. Scott, is anything you need to point out in this report?
No, other than just if there's any other information that you routinely want, just let us know. That's, I believe, what we've been putting in the packets in the past.
Thank you. Okay. Discussion items, reimbursement resolution, Mr. Whitaker.
So a reimbursement resolution is really, if you want to think of it as just a declaration of intent. So what you have in your packet was provided by our financial consultants, Davenport, and they have been advising the county about our debt financing, of course. And they prepared this with a dollar amount of 1.2 million. This is not a firm commitment to borrow money. That's just an amount that's a little bit more in case there's any unexpected surprises related to the UHF radio equipment for 911 and for the ambulance the new ambulance that you had approved in the past, and also for the remount, all of which are accounted for in the budget. So again, that is the actual dollar amount to explain that, but really, these are helpful when there's an expected equipment financing that'll happen. And if that's a few months in the future, what you're doing with that is really just using that money from that future borrowing to reimburse the expenditures that are already made or that are about to be made. So again, this was prepared directly from our financial consultants, actually their attorney firm, Sands Anderson, and be glad to answer any questions about it.
Questions, gentlemen? Comments?
This, is this in the form of a loan?
It is not a loan. Again, really just think about it as a mechanism that allows us to pay ourselves back for that financing. It's really just a declaration of our intent for this borrowing in the near future.
Any more questions? This is not something we need to take action on tonight, Mr. Whitaker? Or
Right. It can go to the next meeting.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Y'all, gentlemen, if you would, look that thing over very carefully between tonight and our meeting, first Monday in August. If you have any questions or concerns about it, please get with the manager between now and then, and we'll try to sure everybody's on the same page at that first August meeting. All right. Item 9, Sheriff's Office Training Facility and Firing Range Policy and Procedure Changes. Mr. Whitaker.
So just to give you a brief update, of course, talked about this a lot at the last meeting. You approved an MOU and also operating procedures for the shooting range. And in that, you approved a 65 decibel level. And so what you have, and I'll put it up on the screen. So what you approved, you sent our attorney away to make a couple of changes at your direction, specifically on the policy and procedure. So again, this first one that's highlighted, Sheriff's Office should notify the county manager at least 24 hours in advance when they intend to utilize the facility. You've already approved that. That's just so you can see the final language there. And really the one that's of interest tonight, and the reason this is back on the agenda, is you'll see at the bottom here, item F, that's on page 31, page 30 in your packet. It says noise levels measured at the nearest occupied dwelling shall not exceed 65 decibels. And you've already approved that to be included, and that's the language, but some interest in potentially considering a higher decibel level because the county ordinance is actually 90 decibels. And really that's the substantive change for that. One other quick thing was just more memorializing what we just read about letting the county manager know when they're going to be out there. So that's the other things marked. But again, the real thing that's before you this evening is what do you want that decibel level limit to be, given that the county ordinance is 90 decibels?
I guess this question would probably be for the county attorney. I'm just trying to figure out, how could we maybe amend the decibel level from 65 to say 75?
Commissioner Ingram, members of the board, good evening. So to answer your question, that would involve a modification of the MOU and the training facility policy and procedure. So if the board had interest in modifying the decibel level, then the motion will be made. And if a majority of the board approves, then it will be documented in the new MOU and facility policy and procedure. And I just want to follow up on County Manager Whitaker's comments about the shooting range requirements. Since the Board of Commissioners controls county property, you have the authority and the freedom to dictate the terms of the county property. And that's why you're allowed to modify the decibel levels from the other existing ordinances.
And I do believe that's not actually an MOU, but it's just in the policies and procedures. Unless I'm
Yes, sir, that's correct. Paragraph F under the training facility policy and procedure addresses the decibel levels.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, Mr. Atwater, not at this time. Mr. Ingram, do you have interest in changing the decibel level?
Yes, I do.
All right, what do you think? What do you want to change it to?
I want to actually change it from 65 to 75.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
All right, we have a motion to change the decibel reading level for the sheriff's department shooting range from 65 to 75. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
65 to 75. We have it in the form of motion. Do we have a second? Have a second from Commissioner Rose. All right, discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I really don't see any problem raising it from 65 to 75, but I would be more concerned, as Mr. Atwood pointed out, and setting some dates where we go in and monitor that periodically, whether it be quarterly, semi-annually, annually, whatever, to where we can keep a handle on the decibels.
Question for our planner while he's here. Do we have a meter for that, or is that the sheriff's department or office?
How often is that going to be checked? Is it? All right. Am I thinking correctly that the sheriff's statement was that how many days a year say they would probably be using that thing?
24.
24 days. So 2 days a month.
No weekends and holidays, best I have been told. Is that correct, Mr. County Attorney?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Rose, under section G, this will be, section 3, paragraph G in the MOU, it states that the borrowing agency agrees that training that requires live fire scenarios will be conducted no more than twice a month.
So, Mr. County Planner, and I'm asking this because I don't know. Are you planning on being there when they do live fire rounds? Or are they going to be you doing the readings themselves, or how is it supposed to work? Okay. All right.
So given that communication from the sheriff's office is intended to come to me, I could at intervals, ask planning department to do that.
It works for me. Any other discussion?
Mr. Manager, just to, I guess, clarify a couple more things. It was, and I think I remember reading it, that once this berm is completed, they're looking at putting foliage on the top of that berm to help with any,
I actually had a conversation about that and I'm not positive that's the plan. Maybe Commissioner Ingram knows, and the question that I brought up is if you put foliage on the top of a earthen berm that you're supposed to be shooting into, does that give anyone the false impression or lack of clarity of where the top of the ground stops because you don't want to be shooting over that berm? And I had that conversation, but I don't remember if, I thought the answer to that was typically they don't have vegetation on the very top, but somebody can correct me.
Yes, I've been to many outdoor ranges that actually had foliage on the top of the range. Yeah.
Okay.
and I do believe that this one, the drawings that I saw, it was a three-sided berm versus just a berm
It-
backstop.
It is. It's the wings, if you will, are basically at a 45-degree angle of the berm itself, which is perpendicular to the shooting, to the angle of shooting.
Thank you.
Any more discussion?
I recognize again.
No, sir. I'm sorry. All right, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of increasing the decibel level at the Sheriff's Department shooting range from 65 decibels to 75 decibels, let it be known by raising your right hand. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-2. Item 10, K&B Consulting Economic Development Contract. Mr. Whitaker.
So the board this spring had some deliberations about economic development and assistance with that. And at the time had identified Mr. Ken Bowman with K&B Consulting as a likely source for this work. Mr. Bowman is here this evening. He has successful economic development experience. And I think most of the board became acquainted with him and his credentials back in recent months. So he serves on the Board of Supervisors in Pennsylvania County. And core parts of the 2018 Caswell Economic Development Action Plan are attached to your packet. What you have there is the executive summary, the action plan, and the implementation steps. And also you have in your packets a focus area task list that was provided by Mr. Bowman. Gave you this at the last meeting also, and a draft contract and addendum. So what is new at this meeting is just the contract itself. We've introduced that topic and at the last meeting, and $50,000 was budgeted for this contracted assistance with economic development. And Mr. Bowman is here to just introduce himself briefly, if he would like to come up to the podium and do that.
Thank you, Mr. Whitaker. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you for being here this evening and allowing me to speak to you. I met most of you, I think, other than Mr. Claggett back in April. And we talked about economic development at that particular time. I do serve on the Pennsylvania County Board of Supervisors. This is my first time on the board there, and I do have background in economic development. I served as Economic Development Director for Pennsylvania County. I was previous county manager out in Camden, North Carolina, And there I assumed the duties of the Economic Development Director on top of those duties as County Manager. And I was also Economic Development Director in Warren County, North Carolina, out by Lake Gaston. So I'm very familiar with the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, with the North Carolina Economic Development Association, and the folks that, believe it or not, are still there, that I enjoyed working with over that period of time. So having a relationship with those folks at the state level and working with different COGs throughout the Northeast North Carolina area, and look forward to working with the COG here. I also have, those relationships. So I'd be glad to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Gentlemen, the floor is open for questions for Mr. Bowman if you have them.
Sure.
Yes.
Mr. Bowman, I
Yes,
know
sir.
the hours are flexible, but I would just want to point out that, I don't feel personally like you have to get so many hours in per week or per month, but be there when you need to be there to meet with the clients and pursue enterprise. And I also would like to see if you could use Warren County as a role model for Caswell County. They're tier 1 and they've got a pretty good economic development program there.
That's right. Mr. Commissioner there, Snow, right? Smith. I'll get it right. When I went out there, they did not have an economic development director. And so I set that program in place. We were able to build a couple of buildings that had not taken place. We were able to take an old industry building out there, textile industry, and sell that to a private enterprise. And they brought that online. And we're also able to take an intersection out there on Interstate 85 and develop that where it was actually owned by a private individual and market that to where they now have a business in there. One of the key factors is making sure that you have infrastructure in place, or at least on the shelf, if you will, the engineering done so you can recruit these businesses. So I'd be glad to do that. I think that's a place to start. And that's one of the things that I was going to look for is what was already in place, some of the work that you've done personally when you were serving as Economic Development Director, and also what the county has prior to that. So building on those programs that are already in place and the studies that have been done, I've already started reading on those. I think we've got a handle on what needs to be done.
Okay, great.
Any other questions?
Mr. Bowman,
Yes, sir.
just real briefly, what is your approach to, in general, to, when it comes to attracting business?
Well, one of the things that needs to be done, and I'll just tell you the research I've done here, is we need to have a good marketing plan, and we need to make sure that our websites are up, because people shop us before they even set foot on the ground. They look at us through the internet and they review everything around the area here. So we need to make sure that we've got a website that's up in marketing, or at least tied into an existing website where it's made easy, where they can go and they can see what we've got and have a point of contact where these folks can reach out to and talk to people that are knowledgeable about the county and the services that it provides. So making sure first that we've got a good marketing plan, making sure that our website is up, and then making sure that we reach out to our local support, which is, like I said, the COGS, and then with the state level and finding out what support we have there. The tier 1, as Mr. Smith mentioned right there, is critical. We'll get good support from Raleigh. So I think that's good. So it's putting all that together. So we have a map to move forward, and I will certainly keep you apprised on all of this as it develops. It may only be limited hours, and I appreciate the work as far as the interim piece, as far as doing, because as I get older, I didn't want to do a full-time job again. I really didn't, but I like doing this, and I appreciate the opportunity to do that. And I will make sure that you get the information as it becomes available. So you'll be wired in just as much as I will be, and the county manager.
Thank you.
And just a word about the contract itself. Mr. Bowman presented a contract to us and myself and Attorney Johnston made some edits to that and took back some feedback that we had from the board in reference to that, and specifically in relation to the time. And what you have in your packet is the result of that drafting and then Attorney Johnston's addendum. That is all his work. On the, after the contract itself, what you have, and I do have it up on screen there, is this addendum, and that is the details that our attorney added.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Mhm.
Mr. Bowman, I think you answered my question. What I was going to ask was, would the board be getting periodic updates?
Yes, sir.
You know, as how things are going, I guess any problems you see or anything, you know, going in the right direction. So appreciate it.
It'll not just be problems, but a status update, to kind of give you an update on what I'm doing, who I'm talking to, and that stuff. I don't, and don't even think that I'm looking for travel. I'm not going to these conferences and things like that. Those are not things that I think the near future looks at. I think we need to get a handle on locally what we're doing first before we even venture out to do that. We've got state level folks that are doing that, so we can get help from them.
Thank you.
Any more questions? I have one, Mr. Bowman. The same as a commissioner in North Carolina. How are you going to separate your role in working for Pittsylvania County versus your role as economic developer for Caswell County? What I'm asking is how are you not going to want to put Pittsylvania County first?
Well, it's, I could have done that when I was in Warren County, or I could have done that when I was in Camden. And I didn't have to be right across the border if I wanted to do that, but that's not an issue. That's not something that I would do. The integrity here is I spent over 30 years in the Army and retired as an officer from Fort Monroe. And so integrity is part of my character, and I will not do that. Whatever proprietary information is done here, stays here. It doesn't go anywhere else. So there are non-disclosure agreements signed all the time, and I abide by those. So there's nothing that I can take from here to Pittsylvania County, to Danville, to Martinsville, to Halifax. I know all those folks over there. This stays here in Caswell. And so I can assure you, it will not be transferred over there.
Okay, I just wanted you to make that public.
That's correct.
For the public to hear.
That's right.
That's the reason I asked.
And the other thing is, as far as conflict of interest, I've already run it through the Commonwealth's attorney, and there is no conflict of interest. It's just like having any other full-time job. The job I have is just like yours. It's part-time. We call it part-time. It's really a full-time job, but it's a part-time job, and you work at your normal job, whatever that is, and you come to these meetings when you have to. So it's the same thing. This is more of my part-time job here to work for you.
Thank you. No more questions, gentlemen? Thank you, Mr. Bowman.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Manager, are we being asked to approve his contract tonight? I know it's under action items.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to make sure before I ask for a motion. Gentlemen, you've had a chance to look over the contract. You've heard Mr. Bowman's comments. He's answered the questions that have been put to him tonight. Do I have a motion concerning the economic development contract?
So moved.
Have a motion from Commissioner Smith. I take it to approve the contract with K&B Consulting.
Right.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second from Commissioner Ingram. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-2. Okay, item 11 is the fiscal year 25-26 budget amendment number 1. I believe we discussed this at our last meeting. Scott, go ahead.
We did, and what I had said at the time was this was left out of the last budget, but this position was intended to have been included. And so I brought it before you as the first budget amendment of the current budget. And it's in the amount of $50,000, and appropriated fund balance would be used for this. The vacancy savings will likely be available to cover the cost at the end of the fiscal year.
Questions, comments? When is the new HR director supposed to be on site? Next week?
Yes, next Monday, the 28th.
That's what I thought.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Scott, do you plan to advertise this once you get the money appropriated?
Yes.
The need
and
is immediate then, okay.
What we were hoping for was to have this, this budget amendment done so that when the HR director comes in, that's a position we can start on to facilitate our work.
What's the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion from Commissioner Rose to approve budget amendment number 1. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Totten. Discussion. All those in favor of motion to approve budget amendment number 1, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item 12, creation of Economic Development Capital Reserve Fund. This concerns the $100,000 from the Firebird Cherokee state. Mr. Whitaker.
So Commissioner Smith originally suggested moving funds to a new Economic Development Capital Reserve Fund. So this is the second time we've had this on the agenda, and I had expressed some, I would say, just caution and felt there was a need for a little more research into this. And so I was sent away to do that, and I've had some good feedback from Ms. Janice Sharp regarding this. And again, it's 100,000 approximately that we have from the land purchase. And really the simplest way to accomplish what I think the request really is, the heart of the request of setting that those funds aside, would be to commit a portion of the general fund balance toward this. And that would still require an appropriation, so it still gives you some control over that. Ms. Sharp provided a good simple breakdown of different components of fund balance on that second sheet. I've put them up on the screen here. It's a little hard to read, but what we're talking about is really the committed level. So you have everything from the unassigned, assigned, committed, restricted, and non-spendable. Some of that is somewhat intuitive, but what we're talking about here is putting this money aside with a formal action. So that would be the ask tonight to commit that. And then you would be coming back to allocate that for the specific purpose. So be glad to answer any questions about that.
Mr. Manager. So if we set aside this 100,000, whether it be allocated or designated from the fund balance, any improvements that we look at wanting to possibly do to the industrial park, signage, whatever, that amount of money would come directly off of this 100. So if we have $100,000 designated forward and we spend 40,000, then it reduces it down to 60. So that, I guess my biggest thing is, I've always looked at it as what would be the problem with the line item specifically for that?
And I'll let Ms. Sharp address that. I mean, you would really just be designating that on the accounting side instead of changing the line item.
It would be designated as part of the fund balance, and we would actually set up that in the accounting system. But then when you use it for something, we would then set it up in an appropriate expenditure. So whatever it would be basically coming forward to you to appropriate fund balance and then appropriate it in the correct expenditure category. So you would have a line item that you would see where the funds had been spent.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Comments? So Scott, I think what I'm seeing is it's not gonna be set up in, what you're recommending is not set it up in a separate account. But we would designate it,
Right, commit is actually.
committed, yeah, committed, that's the word. And it could only be used for whatever the board, for economic development activities.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any more questions, comments, discussion? What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion.
A motion from Commissioner Smith to approve this $100,000 committal.
And I did suggest a motion there, if that's what your intention is.
You good with that motion, Tony?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Rose. Any more discussion? Now's the time. Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of committing the $100,000 of the general fund balance to future economic development, please let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
No.
Motion carries. All right, item 13. Budget amendment number 2 to Pelham Industrial Park Access Road Construction. Mr. Whitaker.
So item 12 was a good segue into this. This is a economic development related request. So let me first say with this budget amendment, you have as one of your operating rules that if it's over $10,000, that this needs to go on the agenda a second time. You, of course, have the right to waive that. I'm bringing it before you this evening, partially because I feel this is time sensitive, and we have a designated vendor involved with this project that could actually would like to start on the work right at the end of the month. So somewhere there about July 31st or so. And let me direct your attention to the screen just so we're clear. So this is our park, and currently this is the access road that goes back to the lift station. And I gave a fair amount of detail there from the planning department. That was the history of kind of how we got to the original plan of that access road going further over here. And then ultimately we came up with something a little different that is a 60-foot wide easement. And I'll zoom in to give you a better idea here. There's some utility poles, and unless Jason or RD correct me, I believe that road comes in, it stays on this side of the utility poles, goes back here, and it takes a turn back here at kind of the back of this lot into this road and goes to the lift station the rest of the way. And that 60-foot area would also leave room for PCC's future needs related to utilities. And just really for the public's benefit, quickly with that history, when Cherokee Firebird originally was going to purchase this area, they wanted a little bit smaller acreage. And at the end of the day, I believe the board had decided that the area carved out initially for this access area was just too large for the county to hold on to, since we would ideally like to see that in someone else's hands. So we did move over to this 60-foot area. And I also like to remind you where some of the general fund money has come in the past, and that was from the sale of timber on that property, which coincidentally or ironically is about what we're talking about for the construction of this access road. So that was 26,000 and change that was received from the timber of that area. And then this access road is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 26, depending on the exact amount of gravel. You know, we've got estimates on some of that, but we are ready to go with that access road. It's needed, and the request is that you would consider waiving your rule on that, so we could move on with the project, and be glad to answer any questions about it. And just to give you an idea, out there at the road, I'm not sure how current it is, but so it'd be coming a little bit further this way, Jason, over here starting, or would it be coming off of that? Over here? Okay.
Any questions? I believe when we first started talking about this thing, Jason was talking about several acres being left in a, that the county was going to keep, and previous board just thought that was too much land to hold on to for access road. Am I right?
Correct.
And Jason, I have that map up behind you if you need to reference it.
Originally, I come to you all, October 7th, I think it was, in closed session. We discussed this map. That area in pink is approximately 4.5 acres of property. The area is also known to be predominantly rock, and see the rock at the top of the ground. And the developers at that time decided, can we move, or requested to move east, it was, away from the property line. As we talked about it and I presented the 4.5 acres, I also mentioned that we could move our road, any utility, over into this area, because there is a pole in the gray area. Again, the Board of Commissioners, you all felt that it was too much void land for us to hold on to. So I did come back to you later in November with a 60-foot corridor, and advised that we could move the road into that area, just as Manager Whitaker said, and we could also put the PCC sewer easement within that. I do know Mr. Holt was adamant about the developers moving the power poles, and they will inquire that expense on the power poles.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mhm.
Jason, if Memory serves me correct, we decided to buy 2 additional acres in that original easement proposal, paying another $20,000 to the county for the land purchase. Is that correct?
They were actually prepared to, they wanted originally 7 to 8 acres. So at 8,000 an acre, it would have brought the county around 56 to 64,000.
Mhm.
Once I went back to the developers and advised them of the Board of Commissioners decision, they decided to go ahead and purchase the 4.5 acres that had the rock in it. So in essence, they are paying for the road by the additional monies that they purchased that additional land, which if we would have held on to it, would have been land that would have been hard for us to sell anyways.
And also the interim point of this that we hadn't talked about this spring was Dewberry, the engineers had actually had shown that access road going through their property back to the lift station. And then as we talked internally about the feasibility of that, knowing that the county needs 24/7 emergency access to it. We decided that just wasn't going to work because they were fencing in that parking lot. It was part of their loading. We could envision not having access when we wanted it at all times. So that's where we regrouped, and that's what you're seeing in the plan now and within that 60-foot area.
Any more questions?
Mr.
Has,
Manager.
Like,
has the road construction, discussion, has it ever been mentioned about asphalt?
not that I'm aware of. It's always been talked about gravel, if I believe is right, RD, gravel road back to the pump station.
Road's actually going in on the other side of the tree. We've actually already marked it where the driveway pipe's going. So what we actually did is we went to Pelham Rock Quarry and I worked a deal with the lady out there. So she's gonna bring us 22 tons of gravel at $575 a load. Philippi Graydon is the one that won the bid at 13 and some change. Everybody else was 15 to 18,000 on cut. The road's actually gonna come in on the bottom side of the concrete cover. The road's gonna go in 889 feet. If you look right there at it, you can see the telephone poles. The road is 14 foot off the telephone poles. The corridor is 40. 60 foot, we're gonna take 12 foot and we're gonna leave PCC system for their sewer line to come in and tie into our manhole at our bottom. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in at the road. We're gonna go 672 foot to the stump pile right there at the top of the hill. And we're gonna cut a hard right and tie it back into the existing road. There will be pipe that has to be purchased. I told him that the county would purchase the pipe and bring it on site as needed. So we could save most contractors put 30% on the material. I'd rather carry it out there and see how it's installed and make sure it's right. Philippi did say that he needed to start the project by the 28th.
And so back to your question about that discussion, when we first realized this would not be going, did not need to go through their parking lot and where their fencing would be, we were just thinking, how do we get a substantial enough road for our access? So we immediately were thinking crusher run and just a good gravel base for our folks to get there.
Mr. Manager. So basically, this access road going in is just going to the pump station. It's gonna have nothing to do with any current or any future economic development as far as showing any of the rest of the property, correct?
Correct. So from this point here, up that hard turn
That's-
to right
that's
there
the-
being the termination.
That's just to get down to that lift station.
Correct.
And you did say if the board approves it, you did say that we could utilize the timber money sale, money from the timber sale to offset this cost on.
Well, technically that was in the last budget, so this would be a budget amendment, but I was bringing that up as a reference of, the outlay related to this project overall. It is a wash from that standpoint.
All right. Anything, I guess, or we could utilize the money that we just approved a while ago for the Cherokee tobacco sale.
Well,
Applies that.
this would be a great example of how to do that. And if you'll jump back to your packet for this item and you look at the budget amendment to number 2 that I have up on the screen, that is with the assumption that you have committed those funds. Is that correct?
Thank you.
So you're tracking well to approve this. If you choose to suspend your rules.
Where you
related to
going,
those items.
where you gonna make that right turn to tie back in to the existing road? Are you gonna be doing any improvements to the existing road, or is it good from right there where the turn is onto the pump station?
There's a bottom right there, and it's a stump pile there, so, I mean, all y'all know when you cut timber, the stump ends are laid there, so he's gotta cut it down. So what I've told him is we'll lay the pipe in the bellies. We got 2 bellies, one at the front, one at the back. There used to be an old house there. So we're gonna take the pipe, try to push what undercuttings we can on top of that, and then let him use the dirt we got to backfill. But when we make it to that hill up there, he's just gonna sort of try to hook it and cut it in as close to it as he can.
Okay.
To make the road as short as he can.
You're talking about right about here.
Yes, sir. The reason why we have to have the road cut and we just can't go through a field and put gravel on it is we do have to have a septic tank truck down there probably 2 to 3 times a year to pump and maintain that tank to keep the sludge out of the bottom of it. And when we do that, the fire department out there brings a truck for us so we can backfill it with water because we don't have no water available on site down there to keep it flushed out. The reason why the sludge buildups in it is because the only thing hooked to it is the visitor center. We don't have enough volume of water going through it to help keep it, so we just have to constantly deal with the sludge, and that's how we have to do it. I just wanted a good base road because I didn't need Don Swan or whoever we get to go out there to have a truck hung up in the middle of a muddy field. That'd get very expensive getting it out.
And if you see that in person, it is pretty obvious that it needs a fair amount of grading and rough numbers. That grading, I think, is around 13,005 or 13, somewhere in that ballpark. And then the gravel will be 10,000 plus. And then you've got some pipe, depending on what size ultimately is needed.
Any other questions? Comments? What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we allocate the necessary monies to construct a new gravel road to the pump station.
All right, but we will need to suspend the rules in order to accomplish this tonight since it's over 10,000. Am I correct?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. If the board wants to move forward with this budget amendment, then the board would need to suspend rule number 27 of the board rules and procedures.
Okay, can we do that in one motion, suspend the rule? Or would you like it separate?
If the board could do 2 separate motions, please. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules? I'm sorry, Ms. Smith. I'll have to hold on to your motion for just a second. I have a motion to suspend the rules and approve, and suspend the rules first, I'm sorry. I have a motion. So have a motion from Commissioner Rose. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second from Commissioner Ingram. And all this is doing, gentlemen, is allowing us to approve this budget amendment tonight instead of waiting for another 2 weeks. All right, any discussion?
Just a clarification that's with the understanding that you're appropriating from what was just committed of that 100 grand in the previous agenda item.
Yeah. All right. On the motion to suspend the rules, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed?
No.
Motion carries to suspend the rules. Now, Mr. Smith, back to your original motion to approve the budget amendment for the access road. We have a motion from Commissioner Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Ingram. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the budget amendment number 2 for the access road to the pump station, let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Did I do that right, Mr. County Attorney?
Yes, sir, Mr.
Okay.
Great job.
I want to make sure we're correct the way we did that. Okay, item 14, the formation of new Caswell Safety Committee. Mr. Whitaker.
So I brought this up at the last meeting. This is partially as a reaction, I would say, a positive reaction, I hope, to our Department of Labor and OSHA inspections. And we are still awaiting that final report. But what came out of that painful process for us was the realization that our safety manual was out of date, that our safety procedures training could definitely use some help. And therein lies the request for a new safety committee. So what you have in your packet is a slate of what I'm proposing as members, employee members of this new safety committee. I've thought you would want to at least have an idea of what they were to be charged to do, and so I've set at a minimum a revision or creation of a new safety manual, developing safety programs to ensure compliance with regulation. We might have them working on implementing workplace inspections, hazard identification, incident investigation, and promotion of safety awareness and training. And what I am proposing is a committee of employees that would meet, at least initially would meet monthly. This would be primarily during working hours. And I would like for this committee, if you approve it at your pleasure, to begin in August. And there is a mechanism in the current committee policy that you also have in your packet that you can waive certain rules. I think the justification for that, or the request for consideration of that, is that these are employees that have already been vetted, well vetted by the county, as opposed to citizens who you may not know. And you see the slate that I am presenting. Mr. Clayton Myers, Sheriff's Office; Jennifer Eastwood, Health; R.D. Hayes, Maintenance; A.J. Fuquay with Solid Waste; Kenneth Everett with 911 Communications; John Yarbrough, Emergency Management; Donnie Powell, Central Permitting; and Melissa Williamson from the Manager's Office and Admin. And with that said, I'd be glad to answer any questions about what I'm proposing to you this evening.
Floor is open. Questions for Mr. Whitaker?
Are the results of the recent OSHA visit available?
Are they available? No, we are awaiting that final report. week before last, they committed or they finished their their second round of employee interviews. And I expect that pretty much any day now. And then that will start our clock ticking of our response to that, which will involve the hearing. And I actually think having this committee in place by then may be perceived as a positive. Of course, we've got bigger reasons to form it than just that, but that would be a side benefit, I believe.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Manager, I read over this and I may have missed it, but have y'all decided on how many times a year this committee will actually go around and perform the safety checks?
Not yet. That would be actually part of their work, be really looking at best practices and putting some of those procedures in place. So this would be something that I would expect there to be certain deliverables, such as a revamped safety manual and some policies and procedures. That's going to take some time to do that well, but those things would be brought back for your consideration, but not determined yet.
Okay, yeah, if we can include that as far as how many times a year this will be done and you know, that way hopefully we can stay on top of it a little better. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Scott, do you see us maybe expanding on the employee training
Yes.
result of this?
When you get the report and you see, I think when you see some of the detail of the things that the citations or what was found, a lot of those items were pretty simplistic items that were pretty basic to a safety program. And I'll say it was a wake up call for some of us. And I believe that that's just going to have to be a more serious focus by the county.
Yeah, I can see where it's a possibility to have committees assigned to certain safety functions, such as someone going and checking fire extinguishers once every whatever. Somebody reports back to you and with an updated report.
Right. The committee's initial focus would be, again, that safety manual and really prioritizing those components that are needed in an effective safety program. And so it's possible, and the committee policy allows for this, that one or more subcommittees might come out of that for certain functions like you're referencing.
Any more questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve the formation of the Caswell County Safety Committee?
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Claggett, second from Commissioner Rose. Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right. Down to reports, updates, and comments. We'll start with you, Mr. Whitaker.
So a few things, we had talked about a comp plan update or a land use plan update, two different things with some overlap in terminology. And this was something that was budgeted for $48,000, and that's something that we're currently working on. I'd like to get that started, and I'll let you know more about that soon. Update on our tropical storm. To remind you and for the public's benefit, we did not, as a county, declare a state of emergency for that after talking to our responders and weighing the damage as we knew it at the time. And as an update to that, Governor Stein actually did include Caswell County in that declaration last Thursday. And so had some verification today from our emergency services director that there would be no need for the county to go back and declare it now that the state has done it in terms of potentially receiving some assistance for that. And I had given you an update by email today about some additional damage that we weren't aware of until this weekend that had come in relation to Milton and some damage they had with their water system. And another update for a couple of projects that we've been talking about regularly, our Danville Utilities Agreement, that you approved some changes to accomplish something that our economic development firm or Cherokee rather, that provider had requested. You made some changes to that for their board, Danville's board's consideration. And the latest of that is the manager's office in Danville wasn't comfortable taking those changes forward and suggested a little bit different way to address that concern by Cherokee. And we are working on that. And Attorney Johnson, I think we're there as far as what I think Danville would be happy with, or at least the manager taking forward to their board. And so we thought maybe we would just try it this time, let them approve that first and bring it back. And do you have anything to add, or did I miss anything with that topic?
No, you covered it, Mr. Whitaker.
Good. And last update I have for you is the animal shelter contract with APS. And that was on the agenda at the last meeting, intended to have it for you to this evening. And that has been a even more challenging process, but I think we are getting there. We're getting close, but really what happened there was we got their changes back last Thursday, the day the agenda packets were being worked on. And it was just still too many differences to work through that one day. So we are going to do everything we can to have you a contract in your August the 4th agenda packets, and hope you'll be ready to consider that then. And that's all I have under my part.
All right. Mr. County Attorney, what have you got for us?
Mr. Chairman, I do not have any updates during the open session, but I will have updates during the, thank you.
Thank you. All right, commissioner updates. We'll start with you, Mr. Claggett.
Just real quick, coffee and conversation for all veterans every Wednesday, every fourth Wednesday at the senior center at 9 a.m.
Right. Mr. Ingram, Mr. Rose, Mr. Smith.
Yes, sir. A couple of things. Since Mr. Bowman's on board now, I would like for you to bring him up to date as to where we stand with the Golden Leaf Foundation application or grant. I think we had like $22,000. We're going to put with a grant from them for $50,000 so that we could make improvements to the Pelham Park. So if we could maybe get an update on that and give Mr. Bowman. And the other thing is, I got a question about the 2024 audits. Are we still pretty much on track to have them ready by the end of next month to go to these auditors?
And I look for Jonna, and she is left, but yes, to my understanding, that we're still tracking well on that.
All right, that's good news. Part two, are we working on the 2025 now, or is it planned just to put that to the side until we get 24 done and then double up on 25?
I believe there are components. I can give you a more firm answer on that after I speak with her, but I think there are components of what we're doing now that is actually work toward that, but largely I believe it's still all the focus is on the 24.
Okay, thank you.
I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Holt. All right. Upcoming announcements and upcoming events. 22nd, which is tomorrow, planning board will be meeting at the library. The 24th, farmer's market as it is every Thursday through September, I believe, on, I can't even think of what you call it now, out here. At the V, and I guess, but it's city, it's right there, farmer's market, every Thursday. August 4th, commissioners meeting here, and the August 5th, National Night Out, Parks and Rec. Closed session to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided under North Carolina General Statute 143.318.11 subsection A3. Do I have a motion to go into closed session? Motion from Commissioner Rose.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Ingram. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We set in closed session.